Crosby from the corner, twisting and turning inside out. Beautiful move, trying to get the shot on. He holds, he shoots, he scores! Absolutely!
The pitch, high fly ball center field. It's hit pretty well toward the wall. Goal!
Roethlisberger gives him a lot of room here. Juju Smith-Schuster off to the races inside the 30, the 20, the 10.
That 10-year anniversary logo, that is just great. I have to admire it each time because A1 Anthony Veltri, he's behind the camera on me, he created it. And he didn't hear me say it for the last 30 weeks. So I just wanted to put that out there. Thanks for watching Pittsburgh Sportsline live in the BP TV studios in your municipal building. Double glass door, right is the police, left is our studio. And it's right here, live, coming at you. Thanks for watching us on Comcast 7, only in Bethel Park. Thanks for watching us on Verizon 32 in Bethel Park, all the way from Nemacolin, Cranberry, Wexford, and all points in between, including City of Pittsburgh and Greater Pittsburgh area. Thanks for the Facebook likes, 6,926 likes. And I'm Al Levine, the talking machine. Smoking Jim Frazier has been in the hospital for over a week. He got out last night to do a show with a model named London, and I asked if he would be here, and he said, yes, sir. Haven't seen or heard from him. Don't know.
Smoking Jim is disguised as a pizza box.
Okay. Okay, well, Chip, the only thing is he's too large to fit into that XL pepperoni pizza from Olive Oil.
That's why we cut the bottom out of it. He's hiding under the desk.
No, that makes sense. So we're awaiting the man of mystery who's been in many accidents, has many sicknesses and quadruple bypasses and other type of things, head-on collisions. And we don't know what mystery illness kept him in a hospital for over a week. Prayers to my BFF. But we have Chip Hainers here. Nick Callis is here, and I'm Al Levine, the talking machine. And I got some promos to put up there for you. Nick, thanks for adjusting. Hello to Ralph. A1's mother, Valerie, thanks for watching our show. We appreciate you. And we got A2 on the camera. Is Smoking Jim in the house?
He is in the house.
He didn't follow
He's going
orders.
to get a drink. He's going to get
Hey. Come on.
Olive Oil's Pizzeria.
Fade to black. He'll pop out of the pizza box.
No, if you see, I'll just share this with our fans. If you see an eclipse of the cameras, Smoking Jim Frazier's here. He looks like he lost 3 pounds being in the
I
hospital.
lost more than 3.
We don't know what he's been doing or what they cut off of him, but Smoking Jim is here. Don't put the camera on him. I'm promoting Olive Oil's Pizzeria. We saved last week's pizza for you, Smoking Jim, and it's still good, so you can dig in. If you're allowed to eat this stuff, because maybe they finally have them eating good stuff. We don't know.
on a bucket of chicken.
Well, the dark
other-
meat chicken, you never know. All right, Olive Oil's Pizzeria, Hillcrest Shopping Center sponsors our show with an XL pepperoni pizza, a steak hoagie, and it's 412-831-1900. Check it out. They had rookies there cutting the pizza and stuff, so we had new people there, and we're enjoying it. They have great Italian food, desserts, salads, you name it. One of the young men there, Brian, he was eating tortellini, and Smoking Jim knows the Italian food, so check out tortellinis. They have cheese in them, Smoking Jim, and they're like a noodle with cheese. Wow. Did somebody get your mic on so we can hear you?
Oh,
He clipped it on all by
Believe me.
himself.
the people across the street can hear him without a mic.
I'm just checking. I'm just so honored he came here. I've been praying for him every day, and I only found out that he was out because, you know, he doesn't tell people anything about his private life, but he posted a model doing a show last night, and she said she was on national TV. So I knew there was a problem, and I saw the green screen that I always see at PCTV, and she said to everybody, I'm on national TV. And so I knew that was Smoking Jim in action. And that's why I'm entertaining you. I'm his Johnny Carson. He's my Ed McMahon. Welcome back, buddy.
Thank you, sir.
Just say hi to all your fans.
Hi, all my fans.
Okay. They actually cut 2 vocal cords out, and I don't think he can speak too loud. We end each show with Stay Joey Strong. We honor Joey Fabus, died at 8 years old from brain cancer, DIPG it's called. It's a deadly disease. Within a year you die of it. And it was right before his 9th birthday that he died 7 years ago. His family started the Joey Fabus Childhood Cancer Foundation. They've raised over $100,000 and gave it to Children's Hospital to find a cure for brain cancer. This DIPG, Dr. Gary told me they're close to finding something that can help maybe beat this cancer. So we're staying tuned to that. Haven't heard anything as of today, but check it out. You can donate money, time, and their big event is like the 3rd week of September at the high school. The Joey Fabus 5K walk, 1 mile run at the high school. And that's their largest fundraiser. They dress up as superheroes and they donate their money. It's a great event. And we film it each year, and the Talking Machine interviews people. Next up, we'll see how A2 does it. He got the autofocus down like A1. This is the A1 and A2 autofocus team. Look at this. Bethel Park Historical Society Schoolhouse Arts and History Center, 2600 South Park Road. Can't miss it with the white and red trolley. And it's actually a trolley. It's not a T for all you younger fans that watch us. We heard there are a few younger fans, and it's the trolley. Definitely. And they do tours and even have events in it, so check it out. Historical Society's 501c3. You can donate money to them. They've refurbished the 1905 schoolhouse from top to bottom. I'm on the Community Foundation of Bethel Park as a trustee. We have a Community Foundation auditorium, and they're upstairs, and it's funded by the Community Foundation, so check it out. My favorite tea place is Reginald's Coffee. And Julie just had a birthday, so happy birthday to Julie, one of the co-owners. And I get my green tea there, and their coffee is better than Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts, and all the rest. Make sure you go to Reginald's Coffee. They have a roaster right there with coffee they get from worldwide. So check it out. All right, another 501c3, A2 on autofocus, bada bing. He gave the thumbs up. Let's see how it turns out. There's that little pause. Well, there's a pause. Chief, thanks for watching. Ralph Williams said, so Smoking Jim's eating both pizzas. Yeah, that last week pizza, we kept 2 slices and a hoagie. Hopefully he found them. I don't know what it's called, but it was something green on there that I couldn't scrape it off. Somebody told me that's like penicillin. And you can check the history books on that. Amy from the Giant Eagle Bakery is watching, so good evening to you. And Tony from Chick-fil-A said, better late than never for Smoking Jim. Welcome back and ready for more disclaimers. No, it'll be from me about him because his opinions are only his own and they do not represent any one of us or Bethel Park and BPTV. That's the first disclaimer so you all understand what I'm disclaiming. Not that he's not an honest man, but his statements aren't backed by any facts.
I think he's the only reason we still have the disclaimer at the beginning, too.
No,
We could just go straight to the...
No, that's technical.
I know.
I'm glad that you're sarcastic. I've been working on him for over a year to become sarcastic. Thank you. Always be smiling. Bennett was who this is named after. Bennett was 16 and a half, died of complications. He was handicapped, had a couple kidney transplants. His dad Dean gave him a great kidney, and his mother, Kristen, Loved them so much they started Always Be Smiling to help other children and families getting kidney transplants. They do events. They have money for you to go out there, so contact them. And thanks for everybody, all my friends, liking their page to boost them over 1,000, and they're still liking them to this day. So Always Be Smiling. If you haven't liked it, please give a like out there because they're good people doing good things. All right, A2. These sheets are getting worn out. We may have to make a new copy. All right, this is Kathleen Miller. Happy belated birthday, Kathleen. The other day I wished her a happy birthday on Facebook, and I don't know how old she is because I don't ask women their age. The only one I ask their age is Smoking Jim. Every time on July 17th, I even question if that's truly his date of birth.
It says it on Facebook. It must be true. He
I
just
thought
don't.
everybody had 10 29th birthdays. As many years as I've known him, he's in 29.
Shout out to my friend Jim Ellenbogen. He says that pizza wild caught. He's my wild caught friend because I just cooked up wild caught mahi the other day. And Chip Hayner says hello. He can't wait to see your yard, Jim. So he'll be out there to check it out. Thanks for watching. All right, with Kathleen, her kidney function was 17%, which is terrible. Mine was 15%. I needed a transplant. We've been posting this up, and she has a donor. She hasn't notified who it is because she hasn't gotten a transplant yet till it goes down another percentage point. When it hits 15%, they will get her a kidney because she has a donor, and she'll announce it. She thanked us for putting it out all the time. And Kathleen, to your health and stay strong. All right. A2 gave me the thumbs up. That autofocus.
Wow.
A1's the best at it. A2's closing fast. So far, he's almost in a tie with A1 in autofocus. You just can't beat these guys. Dave Cable likes to have some fun. He put my face on Uncle Sam, who, what was it last year, Smoking Jim, Nick, finally found out who Uncle Sam was because you explained it.
No, that was a couple months ago. That wasn't.
Last year.
Was that last year?
Well,
No, wait.
this is March. Can somebody explain to my KO buddy
Here we go.
that January's the first month, February's the second.
Is
and
he
the
our
third-
newest CTE?
Yes.
Case?
Yeah. And the third month is
Spent too many
February,
years
which
in the
only
trenches.
has 2 days left. Let me explain it to Smoking Jim. 31 days to March. So if it was 2 months ago, it would have been this year. If it's a little more, which I thought it was towards the end of last year, you could correct me, and
Yeah.
you can research the shows.
Because I remember you talking about it, and then I'm.
What
yeah,
day was it exactly?
Tuesday.
No, that's perfect. I have no problem with that. You know we do shows on Tuesday. If it wasn't on Tuesday, I would have really questioned your intelligence.
Well, it actually was on Thursday last year, so
No, but this year we haven't done a Thursday show.
you're right.
No, we're both right. I'll try to narrow it down since we're getting a little extreme here.
It's like the train's off the tracks
Yeah,
already.
yeah. What
That's
month?
good.
What month was it?
Let's get it back on track.
What month was what?
Okay, we're done with that. I want you for BPTV. We have 3 volunteers. 2 are from the baseball team. They're not helping Pittsburgh Sportsline out. They did watch our show when we had the baseball champion team from boys on it. So I asked the 2 players who were worried about their ghost show, where I heard it, they got 1,000 likes already in 10 minutes. So these guys are very popular, and they said they're going to win a championship this year. So you got the tip from Alan Levine, the talking machine. The boys baseball team will be champions again. So there you go. But if you want to be a BPTV volunteer, unlike the volunteers doing their own show by themselves, you can actually do shows for yourself like A1. and like I do, and things like that. So give a call, 412-831-3304. Tell Dave Cable you want to be a volunteer. And if you're in high school, it's a great way to further your career. They offer scholarships. We have a scholarship for people that do the audio video here for their futures. All right, we're winding down. Last chance on autofocus. Whoop. Double thumb up. We're good. He's all in black. Smoking Jim and A2 talk to each other somehow today. They dress the same. They dress the same. Bethel Park Community Foundation has grant money for you and Not Smoking Jim. From $100 to $5,000 for your group or organization doing great things in Bethel Park. And I don't want to pick on my buddy, but if I don't, then he won't feel strong enough. So I'm trying to boost him up because I don't know what the heck was wrong with him this time. And he didn't answer any questions because I don't ask him anymore. Not that I don't care, but I like him to remain honest.
Them nurses.
Well,
I'm feeling great, Al. Machine, these nurses.
go to BPCF, get your application. We meet every couple months, once every 2 months. So get your application. We can help you out. Amy from the bakery said, I hope you're doing well, Smoking Jim. Amy, he won't answer what's even wrong with him or how he's feeling. He doesn't notice hot or cold, so he's sort of dressed for spring, even though it was very chilly at 19 degrees this morning. All right, I got to ask Smoking Jim, not a personal health question. I got to clarify this. We don't want disclaimers, Tony from Chick-fil-A, otherwise known as Anthony in person. What's on your mind, Smoking Jim?
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. And if you want the green,
Let me underhand it.
you got to see the video.
He's my buddy.
Hey, thanks, man. Hey, real quick.
No, take your time. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks.
How were
Al
you
Levine.
doing before when you got in the hospital?
I was doing great then, too.
Then, in other words, here's a breakthrough, folks. The honest man said he's doing great, but he was hospitalized for over a week. I leave it up to your choice of what he is.
I like to donate blood.
It didn't look like you were donating blood. It looked like they were putting IVs into you. When you show the picture,
I got a few.
they were putting stuff in you.
I got a few.
Don't show pictures because I know IVs. They had me IV'd up in both arms.
But hey, everybody knows I think Baker Mayfield is as good as any quarterback in the
Disclaimer.
me and
Disclaimer. He
the
barely had a winning record for the Browns.
Wait a minute. There's 32 teams in the NFL. None of them won him. Maybe you can play in Canada.
No, I do think the Steelers would take him.
I think
I'm
somebody
on-
made that up on the Fan.
No,
I believe it came from the Fan.
no, we didn't make it up.
But I would take a shot at Shake and Bake Mayfield. And quarterback controversies are not unfamiliar in the National Football League. You got to find a great quarterback. How about Joe Montana and Steve Young on the same team? How about Drew Brees and Phillip Rivers? How about Troy Aikman and Steve Walsh? People don't realize they were both first-round draft choices the same year. How about Terry Bradshaw and Terry Hanratty and Joe Gilliam? How about Randall Cunningham?
He went by Gillum.
Gillum? And how about Randall Cunningham and the Jaws, Ron Jaworski? Here's an old one that I put in there for Chip because he'd appreciate it. Maybe Al Levine, the talking machine, too, even though you're a Green Bay fan. How about George Blanda and Daryl LaMonica? That was
Mad
You know,
Bomber.
you know George
Mad
Blanda's in the Hall of Fame, and he was from our Western Pennsylvania area.
Youngwood.
He's
Yeah,
one of
Youngwood.
6.
There's a street there named
Right.
after him.
He's one of 6 Hall of Fame quarterbacks.
What
And
a
I read the
great one.
great book that Smokin' Jim got from our friend Jim O'Brien. And Smokin' Jim still has it, Jim, if you watch. It's still in plastic.
That's true.
Because he loved the plastic.
And how about
I like plastic.
how about Bernie Kosar and Vinny Testaverde? That was a controversy. Listen, Shake and Bake Mayfield, Heisman Trophy winner. He already has 92 touchdown passes, 14,000 yards.
How many interceptions?
NFL rookie.
How many interceptions?
You know who else won the Heisman, by the way? Johnny Manziel won the Heisman,
Johnny
too, didn't he?
Manziel.
Yeah.
How about
Why do you bring up that name? How did he do in Cleveland?
how about NFL rookie record, 29 touchdown passes? And I think that it would be good if they brought him in to compete with Dwayne Haskins, Mason Rudolph, Mitch Trubisky. You have 3 out of 4 quarterbacks, former first-round pick. What can it hurt?
I got
Well,
to.
I'll tell you what it could hurt. It could hurt their position under the salary cap because Baker Mayfield's slated to make $18 million this year. Okay? Mitch Trubisky basically cost the Steelers nothing. Okay? They didn't have to give up a draft pick. Cleveland's going to want a draft pick back for him. Baker Mayfield is not worth a first-round pick, and he certainly isn't worth $18 million.
I heard
to
they're
me-
looking from a 3rd to 5th round pick.
For me, Roberto Clemente used to say, for me, I would give Baker Mayfield.
Hold it.
Whoa.
Disclaimer.
This isn't fiction and fact.
He must have had some mental issues because
no.
Roberto Clemente was a baseball Hall of Famer and from Puerto Rico.
And he used
No.
to say, for me, I would give up 5 years, $230 million for Baker Mayfield. That's what
Roberto wouldn't say that.
he would say for me.
No, he wouldn't say any of that
No, wait.
because it wouldn't even apply to him. May he rest in peace.
And that's what's on my mind.
Well, Smoking Jim, I just have one question about what did he do after his rookie year, except get hurt as last year.
I think
Jim brought up that last year was a tough year for him because he got hurt.
After his rookie year, you asked me a question. After his rookie year, he came to Pittsburgh and beat the Steelers in the playoffs. I kind of
Question.
like that.
Yeah,
I
but
kind of
wait,
like that.
you know what else
I
he
kind of
did?
like that.
You know
Hold
what else,
it.
you know
You
what
were-
else he did? He caused half the team to quit and go somewhere else because they couldn't play with him.
Smoking.
OBJ, Jarvis Landry.
Wait.
OBJ is your example.
Smoke.
He got a Super Bowl ring.
Didn't OBJ go 1 year before the playoffs and go on a cruise with a bunch of girls in a couple of
What's
days?
that
Wait.
matter?
That's when he played for the Giants.
I have a relevant question. Trade for him or sign him?
Any way
Neither.
to get him.
Nope.
His wife
Sorry.
is beautiful.
I'm half on the boat.
His wife is beautiful.
Hey, special announcement, Smoking Jim from our
His
friend
wife
Pete.
is beautiful.
Chip, Pete goes as a follow-up. I was on George Blanda Boulevard last night.
All
There
right.
you go. It's out by
Thank
my
you.
office.
Thanks for watching, Pete. That's
Out by
right.
my office.
That's where
Is
Chip
it really?
works.
Yeah, it's just 5 minutes away.
Smoking Jim, let me explain something. Chip, Smoking Jim, Chip doesn't make stuff up. I rest my case. All right. Thanks, Smoking Jim. Welcome back. It was quite entertaining. And Tony from Chick-fil-A, the whole thing should have been disclaimed for the simple fact it doesn't represent the station or us, especially throwing my hero Roberto Clemente as saying me for Baker Mayfield when Smoking Jim told us when they got him that he would go to the Super Bowl. Instead, he went to the toilet bowl. Chip Hainer, what's on your mind?
Thank you very much, Alan. And good evening, everybody. What's on my mind? I don't know if anybody paid attention last weekend. Great weekend in the NCAA basketball tournament.
I did.
Men's and women's. The St. Peter's Peacocks. Well, the
Cinderella lost the slippers.
The chariot turned back into a pumpkin. Okay, the North
You
Carolina.
better explain that to Smoking
Tar
Jim. He
Heels
doesn't
have
know
made
that
it to the
story.
Final Four. The Duke Blue Devils made it to the Final Four for the first time in history. Duke and North Carolina are playing in the Final Four against one another. We've got Villanova and Kansas in the other final.
Yeah.
So Saturday night looks like there's going to be 2 good basketball games. I'd like to see Coach K retire with his 6th national championship.
Wow. And that's on top of his record-setting 1,200 plus wins.
Next up,
1,200.
something even
Smoking.
more amazing than Duke and North Carolina playing for the first time in the Final
No,
Four.
hold your breath.
Hold your breath. For the 14th year in a row, the University of Connecticut women's basketball team is in the Final Four. That is an amazing accomplishment. It's almost kind of like Nick Saban in Alabama being in a national championship game every year.
And Smoking Jim, didn't we have a friend of the show as a guest that played for Connecticut?
Ashley Battle. She works for
Ashley
the-
Battle,
She works
shout
for the
out.
Boston Celtics now.
Yes.
Good for
She's
Ashley.
doing
I hope she
announcing in
does
the
well.
NBA. Yeah.
Yeah, I hope she does well.
She
but
has.
But
She has done
you know,
well.
this weekend's Final Four, UConn again getting another chance to raise that trophy. Interesting thing. Last thing I want to touch on in this, will kind of, I'll dovetail this out into affecting Smoke and Jim, but there has been some controversy in the state high school basketball championships.
Whoa.
Because and I don't know if this is because of the PIAA or how this works, but the charter schools and the Catholic schools have dominated winning state championships in basketball, and they did it again. I believe out of 11 championship or 12 championships, they won 11 of them this year. And the problem that some of the other coaches, like the coach from Newcastle, who has won 7 state championships himself, is complaining about is that these charter schools and the Catholic schools are able to recruit students
Like Gateway.
from where I was going with this. Are
Sorry,
able to
Chip.
recruit
You
wanna be a
students
Gator?
from out of state. They, you know, like the Roman Catholic, which won again this year, the state championship. They're able to pull kids out of 90 different zip codes.
90.
Okay, where most high schools can't, the person has to actually live in the district that the school is located in, and they can't recruit players from out of state. So the scales are a little bit tipped. This is a hot topic. I heard Mike White talking about
He's
this.
written
from the
about it for
Post-Gazette,
years, yeah.
and he's been
Outspoken on it.
He was talking about that this year, and so there's talk about there's got to be changes made to the system. I don't know what all the answers to all the questions are. It's an interesting subject to listen to. I did some research on it. I still don't know enough about it to get any further into depth.
Well, between the PIAA and the WPIAL, they think differently on these
But
subjects.
I mean, there's just all these other schools that are winning championships every year. They're recruiting. Maybe the University of Gateway could learn a lesson from some of these other schools, and all the recruiting that they're doing, they could actually win championships.
No, they got away from them. Go ahead, Smokin'. We want to hear your
It's the refs,
analysis of this situation.
I'm just asking the question. Did Aliquippa win?
No,
Yes!
none of the local schools won.
Yes, I don't like your
As a matter of fact,
Aliquippa gets beat.
Aliquippa lost last week and lost by 25 points
in the
in the championship game.
And they're just a small
Did I
school.
get that on tape?
No. Matter of fact, Ryan is in our control room. Just delete. And matter of fact, shut Jim's mic off while he's eating, because that munching is starting to bother me. I can hear it.
That's what's on my mind.
Chip, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Bill Means said he agrees with you about Duke going all the way, and let me co-sign that also with you. I'm not a hater of Duke. I like Duke and what they've done over the years in the history, and to have a coach last, 47 years and 1,200 wins and not have any real scandals against them.
Here's the interesting thing about Coach K. I believe his first 2 or 3 seasons, he had a losing record. If that would happen in today's environment, he would have never had a chance to have a 4th season.
Great point, Chip.
How many championships?
None.
He's won 5.
None. He had
In
none.
47 years?
They're Smoking Jim is.
Just asking.
Let me explain something. I call this somebody's true colors, which they show. They show how they're a
I thought
negative.
you was going to say 25 or 30.
Well, like I'm a positive guy. If you win one championship, I'm happy for you. When you win a half a dozen, Smoking Jim is a hater.
Well, he's won 5 championships in that period of time, but he also hasn't been sanctioned for cheating.
Or have any gray hair.
If I know there's been no recruiting violations from that university as long as he's been there.
And he's never had a gray hair.
Smoking Jim, what's about that? We
Neither
don't
have
even
you.
know if you have hair.
Neither have
There's
you.
a guy we don't know. Does he have hair
Take
under
the
that
hat
hat?
off. Take it off.
He's got olive drab hair.
Well, he has something hanging. He has some rat tail. He has some rat tail hanging off the back of his head.
That's how the brothers do it.
Are you a brother?
From another
Oh,
mother.
there's the one.
From another mother.
Well, I ain't a brother like Chris Rock, I tell you that. I hit back.
This is a
That
this is
answers your
sports.
question, Nick.
Jim Ellenbogen said Central Catholic used it forever,
Yes, they have.
and so did Gateway, just so we can share that with you. They did the same thing. So we're going to move on to Nick Callis.
Hey, what's going
What's
on?
on your mind?
Well, first of all, Smoking Jim's giving me the thumbs up. Like, I fully support Baker Mayfield coming to the Steelers at any cost.
Well, look at the colors
I'll
you
just
have.
disclaim that now. This is a BPTV
It's for
colors.
BPTV.
See the letters? It doesn't say Cleveland Browns.
Here's a disclaimer.
Baker. Baby for
Just
Baker.
does not.
Let me explain
No.
this. This is from our studio, BPTV studio.
I'm representing.
So in other words, Smoking Jim's misrepresenting the facts again.
You got the orange too.
It's literally 4 letters. It's
what-
only 4
Hold
letters.
it. What's Bethel Park's colors?
Huh?
What's Bethel Park's colors?
Tears.
What? What? All right, so back over here, Ryan. Okay.
None of what he's
So-
saying. Shut his mic down.
So
Shut that mic down.
I clearly air. I'm not about Baker Mayfield coming to the Steelers at all costs. If they could sign him for a relatively cheap deal, sure. I like the idea of competition, but any means necessary and Roberto Clemente's fake quote about $230 million guaranteed, not the way to go. Just putting that out there on the record. You heard it right from me. Number 2, I was looking around some old Sportsline videos recently, and I found out that you once interviewed some former wrestling teammates of mine, kind of Keystone Oaks, the Zanetta brothers. JJ used to be our
Their
varsity
mother
coach.
grew up 6-7 houses up the street from me.
Yeah, and you guys did a show at Hollywood Lanes, and you had them up there. Anthony was one of the best wrestlers to come out of Keystone Oaks, if not one of the best. They named him Mr. Perfect.
I wanted
he,
some alumni on my
Yeah,
show.
and he was good at Pitt too, but
And his dad was a great wrestler during my era.
yeah. So
And
the
he's a
Zanetta
great
brothers,
coach.
good wrestlers.
So,
Jay-
so the nepotism does exist.
I guess it does.
to the
I mean-
guest as well.
I was just.
And to Bill Means, Smoking Jim missed the orange shirt that I'm wearing. Oh no, he said it was tears. It's tears. I need a. Where's a napkin at?
Well, I thought that was cool to find that though, of an episode of Hollywood Lanes. I'm
Thank
just
you,
like,
buddy.
I know that person. This is awesome.
Oh, and by the way, they love the interviews.
I'm sure they did. Yeah, I mean, it looked like a fun few interviews, and you interviewed all 3, so that's pretty cool. And number 3, MLB The Show 22 set to release early access on Friday and come out next Tuesday, and I'm playing. They got Shohei Ohtani on the cover, and I'm excited about that. A new year for video games. You can play me if you want, Smoking Jim, but you can't swing a bat or press a button
How's he
on a
even
controller.
holding?
So
You know
it
what
would- no.
You know what I'm more excited about? Next Thursday, okay, Major League Baseball season starts.
But that's
real live baseball with human beings.
I've been overshadowed again by the guy born in the 50s.
60s.
No, 60s.
60s.
1960 to be
60s.
exact.
My bad. So
The
this
same
is
year
tough.
that the Pirates won the
I
World
can't enjoy.
Series.
See, I like the game because you can build your own team with past and present people, and there's a mode where you can do that and collect all these players. So it's kind of fun for me to watch virtual versions because I chose to be born in an era where Roberto Clemente and Dave Parker and Willie Stargell weren't on the Pirates. That was my choice. So the only way I get to enjoy them is
Hold it, you forgot Richie Hebner,
Robert-
the Alou
Roberto
brothers.
Clemente. Yeah, so my bad. I guess didn't realize. So I get to enjoy watching virtual versions of them because I made a poor decision on when to be born.
How old are you?
23.
Okay, thank you. We appreciate the young
That's
folks.
what's on my mind.
In 6 years, you'll be Smoking Jim's age.
It's a mystery of all times. Bill Means brought up some more history. This Dave Yount, Y-O-U-N-T, was a 2-time state champ for KO. May have been the best there was. So we did have some champs out there, Smoking Jim.
Yes, sir.
There wasn't all tears at KO. He just told you about great wrestlers. And they were on our show. You met him.
Yeah.
And he wasn't very disrespectful. He was wearing like Gateway colors and talking stuff like he does. But somehow we got through it. Let me think what's on my mind. I miss Smoking Jim. I missed his honesty.
Thank you, sir.
Because it's just so refreshing.
Thank you.
He got the best smile in the media. And whatever ailed him, he only looks like he's down a few ounces. So I appreciate that. There's pizza for you to eat. I don't know if he's missing a finger or two, so you got to watch that. What's on my mind is overtime. NFL changed the overtime. Like participation trophies, both teams' offense gets the ball in overtime.
Only in the playoffs.
Right.
Oh, really?
Oh, you
Right.
mean when it matters? Okay.
Yeah. So that's when it is. But I had a question from the beginning with all the people crying, like whoever wins the coin toss, 10 out of 11, won the coin toss and scored first. I always have this question. Football, there's offense, right? And then there's something called defense.
Yes, sir.
And didn't they say defense wins championships?
Except in football. Except in football. Like, if you have one opportunity, have your defense stop them. Didn't they stop them throughout the game? Hence a tie? How did you tie if you didn't score on every play? So why in overtime do you want two teams to score on each play, and then you go back to sudden death?
See,
What a
here's the-
compromise that was. Get your participation trophies out. Thank you for playing sports. Forget
the-
about winning.
The whole problem I have with this thing is, the NFL succumbed to media pressure because people whined and cried because they felt that the
Entertainment.
outcome of a game, some people felt it was unfair. But when you play a game, one team wins, one team loses. That's just the way sports are. But now we want to micromanage it so that we give everybody a fair chance. Well, you know what? Life isn't fair.
Well, here's the thing. Everybody on this panel, you may not think we played sports, but all of us played sports. All of us won games and lost games except for Smoking Jim. Because every year I notice some of my KO friends become even greater players than they were back in the 70s. So I respect that, and Bill, you can understand it with the stories we hear. And Smoking Jim, they were undefeated every year. And listen to this, they illegally recruited one year and lost their trophy. But he still has the trophy in his trophy cabinet. He has a 96-inch screen TV. He has a 108-inch cabinet for all their trophies. So this is what we have. When you play sports, to me it's the greatest thing because it builds character. You learn how to understand when you lose, life goes on. And when you win, if you get too cocky, you end up losing like Gateway lost the trophy. So it all comes back, I call it comes back to the mean, the middle ground. And that's how life is. If you can't handle losing, then don't play sports. And if you do have success, I'm sure you remember your losses more than your wins because you learned from it to get better. So I'm all about sports and doing it the right way and not cheating. So the new overtime rule, you can have it for a few years and just bring it back to sudden death. Flip of the coin and defense, not just entertainment. We're going to be back in 10 seconds with some fiction and fact from Smoking Jim's Honest Almanac.
Thanks, Al Levine, the talker machine. Hey, listen, when it comes to in AFC North football, I got to assume that three quarterbacks, as an ownership of the Pittsburgh Steelers, I got to assume that the three quarterbacks we compete against in our division are the next Joe Montana, Joe Burrows, Lamar Jackson, Deshaun Watson.
Hold on, I have a question instantly. How did you come up with that?
Well,
What did you see? Or
If I-
hear?
if
What
I-
did you hear? Because you
if
were in the
I'm-
hospital.
If I'm building the team, I got to assume that the quarterbacks on the other team are great. So I'm building my team to defeat them.
If you're building a team, that's a problem right there.
Here,
That's
I gotta ask you.
That's a
In
problem
my
right
humble opinion, what do you think the owner of the team, Art Rooney, thinks?
I think he's glad he's not still practicing law and getting beat. but Al Levine, the
Hold on, we were
machine-
talking
Let
football.
him finish.
Listen, I think the Pittsburgh Steelers have to go and approach this draft as they have to get a franchise quarterback this year. Trubisky may be great, Mason Rudolph may be great, but my highest rated quarterback coming out of college since Russell Wilson is Malik Willis from Liberty. You know, this is a guy that has a gun for an arm. He runs a 4.3 40, and he's the best leader that I've ever scouted. I think that by any means necessary, I said it last year, I said by any means necessary, we had to get the former homeless running back from Alabama, and we did. This year, by any means necessary, we got to put Malik Willis in the same back with the running back, and I think the Pittsburgh Steelers will be okay.
Smoking Jim, do you think quarterbacks should make a team better?
Yes, sir.
How much better did he make his team?
Liberty?
Yeah.
Liberty went to 2 bowl games with him.
How many games did they win with him?
They won 9 games in a row. They were 9-1 his junior year. Liberty is a school that Duquesne would probably mop up with if it wasn't for Malik Willis.
Wow.
And there's nobody to lead a team prayer better. He's a future minister.
We appreciate your opinion,
Yeah, say that
Smoking
with
Jim.
Amen.
Thank you. We'll be right in this with Chip in 10 seconds.
Well, everybody, welcome back. And just thought I'd tell you, you know, once again, I completely disagree with my dear friend Smoking Jim Frazier. But you know, that's what we do. So what I would like to touch on is, because we're coming up on the start of baseball season, next week we'll give a little preview of what to expect. But I was thinking about some various things, and my many trips to PNC Park. I look up at the names and the numbers that have been retired from the Pittsburgh Pirates. And I was wondering, how many people really know who these people are? So I'm going to go down the list of them very quickly, give a brief description. The first number that's retired by the Pittsburgh Pirates is number 1. That was for Billy Meyer. Okay, Billy Meyer. Meyer managed the Pirates for just 5 years. In his first season, 1948, he helped the Pirates improve from 7th place to 4th. Things went back downhill from there, with the team finishing 6th, 8th, 7th, and 8th in the 8-team league his last 4 seasons. In 1952, his final season, the Pirates went 42 and 112, capping off his managerial record at 317 and 452. He resigned after the season. For some reason, the Pirates retired Meyer's number 1 in 1954. He suffered a stroke the next year and died 2 years after that at the age of 64. So, I mean, that just kind of goes right along with with the Pirates and it not making sense. Next number up. Number 4, the great Ralph Kiner. Kiner is one of the ultimate what might have been stories. He debuted in 1946 at age 23 and proceeded to lead the National League in home runs. In each of the next 6 years after that, he led not just the National League, but both leagues in home runs. After 7 seasons, Kiner hit 294 home runs, a record that still stands today. In fact, Kiner holds or shares the record for the most home runs after a player's 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th seasons.
Wow.
The Pirates traded Kiner to the Cubs in 1953 with general manager Branch Rickey famously telling him, finished last with you. We can finish last without you. So, number 4, Ralph Kiner.
That was my dad's favorite white player.
How do you know?
My dad used to ride his bicycle at Forbes Field.
He rode his bicycle.
They would let him in after the 7th inning to see Kiner hit a home run.
At the main entrance, before where the escalators go up, there's a bronze bust of Ralph Kiner's hands holding a bat. The guy had some meat hooks running.
He said they would let kids in after the 7th inning, and he'd go down there to watch Kiner hope to see Kiner hit a home run.
Next up, the great Willie Stargell. Stargell played his 21-year career with the Pirates, 475 career home runs, most of them tape measure jobs. I posted something last week where he hit by far more balls out of Forbes Field than any other player. Willie McCovey hit a couple. I think the last 7 that were hit out of Forbes Field, and I mean completely out of the state. And Forbes Field was massive.
Oh, yeah.
It was a huge ballpark.
What was center field, like 450 feet? Or
457, I
Yeah.
believe. I mean, they weren't like these ballparks, the bandboxes we've got now, where it's 330 down the lines. I mean, but anyhow.
Or even 310. Sometimes they put a 310 in there, I think.
So I've gone over what Willie's accomplishments in the past. Next up, number 9, Bill Mazeroski. Probably the greatest defensive second baseman to ever play the game. Mazeroski is proof that defense in one big World Series moment can eventually get you into the Hall of Fame. He played 17 years for the Pirates. His biggest moment being his walk-off home run in Game 7 of the 1960 World Series. He made 7 All-Star teams, won 8 Gold Gloves, and he set the record for turning double plays in his career with a number of different.
Gene Alley was
Gene
my
Alley
favorite.
was Bob Prince used to call him. That when they get a runner on first and they needed 2 outs, he'd say, "Bring out the Hoover."
They brought the Hoover
They
out.
brought the Hoover job out.
That was a vacuum cleaner for all you people that don't know vacuum cleaners or baseball, like smoking.
Next up, last week I talked about Big Poison and Little Poison.
Yes.
Big Poison, Paul Wainer, number 11. He played alongside his brother Lloyd. I went into their credentials last week. 3,152 hits. Second greatest right fielder in Pirates history. Played 15 seasons for the Pirates. And he's in the Hall of Fame. Paul Wainer's number 11. Next up, who can?
American.
Pie Traynor.
Traynor.
Pie Traynor, number 20, was teammates with the Wainers, playing for the Pirates from 1920 to 1935, with a cameo in 1937. He also served as the team's manager from 1934, 1939. Career batting average of .320 in his 17 seasons. Had a reputation for being the best fielding third baseman in baseball, and he was selected into the Hall of Fame in 1948.
And I met him at 12 years old, a baseball banquet. I have his picture he gave me.
Wow.
So,
Pye died in 1972, and the Pirates retired his number a month later. And then, of course, everybody knows the great one, Roberto Clemente, number 21, has been retired. I believe that Major League Baseball, the same way they retired Jackie Robinson's number 42, should retire Roberto Clemente's number 21 across the major leagues. He played 18 years in the bigs, career batting average of .317, 3,000 hits on the nose. Probably the greatest right fielder that ever played for the Pirates, that ever roamed Forbes Field or Three Rivers Stadium. And last but certainly not least, one of the greatest players of all time, Honus Wagner, number 33. Wagner is one of the best hitters of all time, batting .328, .391, .467 in the dead ball era for an OPS of .151. In 11 seasons from 1899 to 1909, he hit .350 as his batting average. Wagner was also a great defensive shortstop. And just to give you an idea, I believe Honus Wagner won 8 batting titles. And if you go, and I took the tour of PNC Park, and in the batting cages, they have a list of all the Pittsburgh Pirates that have won batting titles. And I believe the Pirates ranked number 1 in most batting titles won in Major League history. And the team that comes in second
you don't know baseball.
were the
buddy.
Detroit Tigers. And the Detroit Tigers were because Ty Cobb won a record 11 batting titles. And then last but certainly not least, Danny Murtaugh. Number 40, I believe Danny Murtaugh should be in the Hall of Fame. It was a travesty that he was not elected by the Veterans Committee. He managed the Pirates for a
Hey, if
total
Bill
of
Meyer
15
could be
seasons.
in, why can't Murtaugh?
Well, after managing them from 57 to 64, a stretch that included a World Series championship, he retired for health reasons. and took a job in the front office. Harry Walker was fired during the 67
He
season.
was quite the character.
Murtaugh took over for the final 79 games of the season, returned to the front office. Larry Shepard was fired as the manager near the end of the 1969 season. Murtaugh was asked to have his old job back after being medically cleared. He took over again as manager for the 1970 season, culminating in a World Series championship in 1971, where Roberto Clemente's talents were put on stage for everybody to see. Well, Roberto was the World Series MVP
Sure.
against the Baltimore Orioles. In the year that the Pirates beat the Orioles in 1971, the Pirates were facing a pitching staff. They had 4 20-game winners. Okay, they had 4-man rotations, not 5-man rotations, and pitchers had to pitch more than 5 innings to get credit for a win. But the Orioles had 4 20-game winners.
Top
I don't
pitchers.
believe that it's happened since.
Neither will it ever happen again. Yeah, and Smoking Jim, I just have a question for you since you're criticizing baseball. When's the last time you read any stats or anything on baseball? Okay, thank you. We're going to go to Nick in 10 seconds.
The NFL has had some headlines over the last couple days. I take issue with a couple things. First one, so I believe they made it mandatory that a minority, and they excluded women from minority, so they just put women in their own category, which is, I mean, I guess it's okay. Women or minority must be an assistant coach to the offensive or defensive coordinator. I said my piece about this before. You know, I don't like that they force owners to hire certain people. Now, how much influence can an assistant to a coordinator have? I don't know. That's yet to be seen. But still not loving that. I do like the fact, though, that they're adding diversity, which is a good thing. But the fact that the owners now have to hire certain positions, that's a little iffy to me. Number 2, overtime rules. Al touched on it, and I agree with a lot of what Al said. And I was
thank you.
And I was actually going to
Thank
bring
you.
this up too. So I'll just reiterate his point. The defense exists in the sport, right? It's not like
Good point.
they don't exist. If the defense gets a stop, then the advantage for the defense is that
Yes.
you get the ball on offense, and then the team that prevented a touchdown now gets to kick a field goal to potentially win. The only team that has to score a touchdown originally is the team that wins the coin toss. It's more of a burden to travel down the field and get in the end zone than it is to kick a field goal. So the reward for the defense getting a stop in that first drive is that their team now has the opportunity to kick a field goal next. So you had 60 minutes to work out a plan and to gain an edge over the other team, and you didn't do it. So now we're going to extend games longer, and we're going to have endless first rounds of the overtime because both offenses are dominating, and the defenses now have less pressure on them to win games. I don't think so. Not a big fan of it. And they're doing it where the games actually matter, which is in the playoffs. It's fine for the regular season, but now it matters. So let's extend games more because the offense is the only thing that matters because people have tiny attention spans and like to see scoring. Football will be basketball before we know it.
Nick, how old are you?
23.
Old school, new school, agrees 100%. Thank you. I'm glad I stole your thunder. All right, I guess I'm up in 10 seconds. It's live TV. What a great graphic that A2 designed for me on location. Tony from Chick-fil-A says, what year did Smokin' Jim play any sports, not including his Xbox sports game?
Did you actually have an Xbox? Because that would shock me.
I never played that.
And Bill Means gave us a score on the Pens, 1-0. Pete gave us a little humor. It beats as it sweeps as it cleans with the Hoover.
Yep.
They did commercials, and Bill Means agrees with Nick
Let's go. Thank you.
on hiring people in the NFL. All right, on location. We're going to Jack Mook is hosting, a trainer in the North Hills, is hosting an event for boxing at a community church facility out in the North Hills in Wexford, 121 Perry Highway. Smoking Jim, now you know the address. 1 o'clock, so I don't know if Smoking Jim will be up. We plan on being there, and hopefully he can join in. It'll be 1 p.m. I'll be there by 11:30, 12 o'clock with camera and setup, so I know I'll be there at least. And we're looking for a good day of Golden Gloves fights. And we'll be at Monsville Prison, the haunted prison, on April 16th. And it's hard to believe Saturday will be April 2nd. Wow. So Smoking Jim, flip the calendar page up on your door so you can go to April. And then we're looking at possibly being in Monroeville on the 9th. I got to talk to Gloria, so we might be in the hometown of Smoking Jim. We don't know exactly where he lives, but he said he lives around white people. And
Wonderful.
I personally, I don't care. I'm just quoting Smoking Jim. It doesn't matter to me, so I understand that type of stuff. And we're running out of time, but I did want to
Penguin
bring
talk.
up Penguin Talk now.
wait. I got one more thing to say. before
Okay.
we do that. I got approved to be working morning shifts on the 9th and 16th, so I'll be your guy again for potentially both those boxing matches.
Congrats. Nick is back. Chip, go to the Penguin
Penguin
Talk.
talk. Penguin right now got a 1-0 lead on the New York Rangers. And the Penguins went to Madison Square Garden last Friday night, and the Rangers promptly handed them their heads. He took them out behind the woodshed, and they beat the snot out of them. Yeah, they went out of the first period down 4-0. The Penguins weren't ready to play. Now, the Penguins looked as bad as they could look. Tristan Jarry got pulled in the first period. He had to get put back in the game because Casey DeSmith got injured. So that fast forward to Sunday.
Wow.
The Penguins scored 11 goals. The first time that 11 goals has been scored since the shutdown of play back in 2004. So the Penguins scored 11 goals against a horrible Detroit Red Wings team. So tonight's the rematch with the New York Rangers. Now the Rangers are fighting with the Penguins. The Penguins have played one more game than the Rangers have. They're ahead of them 1 point, second place in our division.
Right.
And, here's the problem I have with what the Penguins are doing. Which Penguin team is going to show up? The one that played on Sunday or the one that didn't show up on Friday? And the inconsistencies that the Penguins are having now, I think, are going to present huge problems for them if they don't get this worked out.
Well, Chip, I
into
think
the
it's
playoffs.
so simple. I don't care what team it is, but bring the team that starts with energy right off the bat.
No, apparently that's working tonight. They're up 1-0. But the Rangers are nobody to sleep on. And, if they're going to get anywhere in the playoffs, if they're going to make any kind of a run, they're going to have to beat teams like Carolina, the Rangers, Tampa Bay, Florida. They're all of them are better than the Penguins right now.
Oh, no doubt about it. And this is a preview of the playoffs because it looks, or the Stanley Cup, when the Rangers would probably play the Penguins. So this is a little peek into what it'll look like. And we're almost out of time, folks. Glad Smoking Jim could make it all the way from Monroeville / New Ken. And he seems to be healthy. We haven't said one word or heard anything about his illness. Keep praying for him because he needs it. Thanks for being here. Please stay Joey strong.